The GrishaCast is currently covering Ninth House, an adult novel. This is a change from our normal young adult podcast. Please keep this in mind when listening to this episode with children. We will let you know when we return to young adult content.
And I'll tell you guys since we're all friends. Every character I write has a piece of me in them. Hi, I'm Lee Bardugo. You're listening to the GrishaCast.
Welcome to GrishaCast, episode 122. In this episode, we will be discussing chapters 6 through 8 of Lee Bardugo's Ninth House. This is your host, Eric.
And I'm Terry from Nashville, Tennessee. This is your podcast for all things Grishaverse.
A world created by our own prognostication leader, Lee Bardugo. Muy bien, casters.
Hello there.
Hi. So, we're excited to be here, and we got some listener cities.
First, we have Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Ooh.
That sounds fun.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. And next, we're going to Talal, Egypt.
Yay!
And I'm very sorry for butchering that one. But I love you guys. I know.
What fun places.
I know. It really is. So, wow. This is exciting. I know.
Yeah, we're getting into the meat of the
I
book.
know. So I hope you listeners are enjoying. And don't worry, Grishaverse lovers. We are still going to be doing Grishaverse stuff. We just, it's Lee. We got to cover Lee. So, anyways, yeah, this is definitely getting into the meat of stuff. But before we get into that, how you doing, girl?
I'm good. We took a very quick trip to Florida for an appointment, but I was like, if we're there, we have to go to the beach.
Duh.
We were there for like maybe 2 hours before my youngest completely just butchered his foot. Just blood everywhere. I don't know what he got. I don't know.
It was probably glass in the sand.
I'm assuming it was glass or a shell. It was when he was out in the water. So, but he came like walking up, and the look on his face. He is very accident prone. So I knew that look on his face. And he's just standing there like bleeding everywhere. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're leaving now. This was fun dragging everything out here.
I bet it looked like a shark attack.
It kind of did. And because it's my luck, it was the one day that there was no lifeguard on duty.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
There was this park ranger on a...
What?
It was like a park ranger on a four-wheeler. And I waved him down. I was like, hey, I need help. And he was like, what do you need? I was like, I need first aid.
Oh.
And he's like, it was like this little foil packet of like antibacterial stuff and a Band-Aid. He's like, this is what I have.
Oh, wow.
But he said literally it was like the only day that the lifeguards weren't there. And I was like, okay, of course.
Well, I'm glad he was prepared.
Yeah. So it was much more exciting than I wanted it to be that day.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to sit on the beach and read Ninth House. That's all I want to do. And then we had to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the only time I've been at the beach all summer, and that makes me sad.
Well, at least you got to see it and go.
Yes.
I haven't seen the beach.
I did go into the water and play in the waves a little bit and sit for a little bit.
You got to be grateful for what you got. At least you had those 2 hours.
Yes.
So that's nice. That's
Yes.
exciting. Well, cool. Well, let's see. I don't know if much has really changed with me. One thing that's really exciting for me is I was waiting on an arc that I was excited that I was going to be able to get. And I got it.
Yay.
I know. And yeah, so for those of you out there that, because I could share it, because other people have to get them and read them. However, it's really cool. So let me just show you as well. Hold on.
Holding.
Yeah, so I Okay, so it's a sequel to a book that came in my fairy loot crate like I can't remember, maybe a couple years ago or maybe just like last year. And I'm obsessed with fairy tales.
What?
I know what. Well, it had a description about a fairy tale, and I was like, I'll give it a try, and fell in love with it. So it's by Stephanie Garber, who wrote the Caraval series. And yeah, so those of you out there that know Once Upon a Broken Heart, I've got ah, The Ballad of Never After. Yes, this will be out in September, and I'm so excited. Um, and I've been reading it. Trying. Um, I want to just sit and read this entire thing, but unfortunately, life is going on, and I have other things to do. So every moment I have, I read it. But it's really cool, and it made me really excited. This is the second one she had to send me because the first one never came. I was like sitting there. I was like, I emailed them back. I was like, just let you know, can't wait for the book to come. And they're like, oh my God, it hasn't gotten there yet. It should have been there. And I was like, seriously, since the moment they had told me they were sending me a copy, I had checked the mailbox every day. And now since I've gotten it, I'm sure Chris has noticed I don't check the mail anymore. Because I don't. Um, but yay. Anyways, I was really excited. It was really neat and for those of you out there that really actually read Once Upon a Broken Heart and are excited about this, I'm just letting you know it's gonna be great. It's fantastic. It's really good. So that's been exciting for me. Yeah. And yeah. So um everything else has just been family stuff and still going through that. And anyways, for those of you out there, just yeah, if you have a extra minute or like want to say a little prayer or something for my daddy, however he's gonna yeah, I'm just it is there's nothing else to say except for the fact that, it's just unfortunately life sucks sometimes, but he's here, and I'm gonna enjoy every moment I have. And it's just it's really weird. Like I mean, just not to make this podcast so deep, but it yeah, it's interesting. And I at least I've got some support. My brother's coming in, which I'm really excited about. One, I haven't seen him in a while, and two, he hasn't actually met Caden.
Oh yeah.
He has never met Caden, and I don't even know if Caden knows my brother's coming in. Hmm. Which will be kind of funny. Maybe I should just like prank him and like just like bring my brother, like just be like, "Hey, this is my rent." Yeah, but that's
Not to make light of the situation, but Caden and your brother
I know. Can you
are
imagine?
going to be very interesting.
Aren't they?
I can see it going one of two ways.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, they are complete opposites.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this though. My brother, you would be impressed at the way that he is handling some stuff with like I mean, he has agreed and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, we both hate the situation we're in, but he actually like I mean, he's just very to the point. He's all about facts and he does come across blunt. However, sometimes blunt with definitely some attitude and some
Yes. Some
just
sass.
yeah.
He's very sassy.
So he will get his point across. And if you're talking and your story is taking too long, yeah, he will let you know. And it will give you chills and make you more anxious and make it worse. But anyways, he's actually like I mean being very sensitive and I'm really impressed.
That's good.
I know, but we have each other and yeah, my daddy is he's just going through stuff and yeah, but he is I've had some really good moments with him still and he's still like he's talking and everything's good. My mom is it's a hard situation. There's nothing else to say except it's hard when you get older and your parents start to age. There's
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. However, yeah. So Okay, well, that's enough of me just really trying to scrape around an issue and not really doing a great job, but also not really putting in much context. So, thanks for those of you guys that are still listening, and haven't like just been like, I'm gonna leave. But anyways, I would appreciate the little extra prayers if you guys. That would be great. Just, but anyways, um, we have this podcast, and this is amazing. I really look forward to this each week, and especially since we've entered a new world that Lee created, and it's such a fascinating one. But it's not really a new world because it's our world.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah, we kind of touched on that earlier before we started that there's like obviously a fictional story, but it's still taking place in like a real world.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. For me, that's a little more up my alley than the fictional
Oh, definitely.
world.
And for those of you 8 people that are watching us on YouTube, instead of the fold being behind me, which it wasn't behind me last week either, but we actually have a really cool photo. This is Beinecke Library, the actual image of inside. So this is literally the place that we begin in chapter 6. This is where the is it the right? Like I know the Aurelians are doing
Uh-huh. They're
something.
doing some sort of ritual.
Yes, and they're doing it in this library. And literally, like, I mean, it's just this is a really cool library. Like, I mean, I just think this is so cool. And that is like this box within a box. And I want to get inside that box right there. That sounds,
It's like this mix of old things and modern things.
yeah. Well, and you're right, because the actual name of it isn't Beinecke. And on the map, it says it's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library. So it's really cool. And they're doing this like ritual like right up in like I mean there's no behind any doors like in the beginning where they had a secret place like in here they're like literally just up in this library like right next to that big cube of rare books.
Good old Zeb.
I know. So let's get into this. I'm glad that you didn't say this on podcast, but you did tell me that it's starting to like get you a little excited.
Yeah, it's starting to get interesting. I noticed the appointment that we went to in Florida. We had to wait forever. I don't know what was going on, but literally hours. Hours.
For
You're
like a
supposed to.
doctor to come out?
We had to wait forever for the doctor, and then we had to wait forever for lab work. And I think the appointment was at like 8, and we didn't get out of there until like 11:30 or 12. And I noticed
Dang.
that like I was reading, I had the book with me and I was reading, and I wasn't looking up a lot. Like I was actually like engrossed
Into it?
into the book. So we're at a point to where, I'm actually invested into it now. So
Well, I'm excited. I'm glad.
yeah, it's fun.
And we didn't say this on the podcast because we talked about it inside my kitchen, but
And we said we were going to stop doing that.
I know.
And then we didn't
I know.
follow our own rules.
We've got to start doing that. Try to. But what you said was really good. I thought you were talking about how Lee's writing is it's got the same style, and especially in the beginning of a series.
Yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago, where I talked about how at the beginning of a series, at the like Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows, where it's all this information all up front. You get like 800,000 character names. You get all this information about things. You get all these hints to things. And it's hard for me to be invested in all of that because it's just like, here's all this information. But then as she starts to kind of unravel all that information that she sent you,
Yeah.
then you start to get a little more invested in it because this is the time now where we're starting to get to know our main character a little bit more, and we're starting to get to know more about what's going on and what they're doing. So it starts to get a little more interesting. But that happened with her previous books too. So
Yeah. They are always is like just like this mystery, and I felt that way with Six of Crows. I was very like, even though it was the same world, Six of Crows just like really threw me and
because it started
it starts
full on.
It starts full on, but also like for me and my brain, it wasn't easy to like make it like I was almost like I was just getting confused a lot just because there were so many characters and so many different things, and it might have been the same world, but I was whoa. And
it was a new setting with new characters
and totally different from we weren't like, I mean, it's an amazing story. We know like how great that is and how popular it is, and that's why it is. But it's just so different from from Ravka. It's just so it's almost like polar opposite. So to all of a sudden have this Amsterdam place, that's what I always think of. I always think of Amsterdam. So I just love Ketterdam and Six of Crows, and we're just gonna. I lost my train of thought. Could you tell?
Oh yeah, I mean, we were just talking about how it was everything. Like because we start with like Kaz, and then it's just like Nina and this and that and that, and it's just like this, where we get Alex and Darlington, and everybody's like hints at everybody's life all at the same time, and it's just it's a lot. And so now we're starting to kind of unfurl all of that.
Yeah. And that was also the first time that she introduced that style of writing, which she has created now. Like, I mean, always done. Like, where the chapter name is it's the same for like whatever set. Like for here, it's our setting. Like, I mean, the chapter is either last fall or winter.
And the chapter 6 that we're starting with, it's last fall. I feel like that was more from Darlington's point of view.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I love that we're getting into these characters more and we're learning more about them. So one thing I want to like, I just think is neat that we get to see more of the magic a little bit, or the magic of this place. But to also know that like literally like this isn't so much fantasy either. Like, I mean, prognosticate, is that a real word though? Prognostication?
Sure.
Okay, because I didn't think logomancy was. Which actually is, and I didn't think it was, word magic. And I just think, because I thought that was really cool when they're like, I love the fact that we're starting to learn all the different, what the houses have, like what their specialty is. And I love that Aurelian's is like, they're considered really not that strong, but if you had control over words, I think I feel like that'd be a really strong one. Don't you? I mean, especially in our world where it's like fact and because if you can control words, then you've got to be able to control like words anywhere, which would mean internet and stuff like that too.
Right.
So you can just change around anything. I thought it was neat that they gave the example of how in the graveyard, if they didn't have like they did some special kind of charms or whatever on some of the graves. Otherwise, they'd have grays running around everywhere. Thought that was neat. So
prognostication.
The
action of foretelling or prophesying future events. I can't ever say that word. But you get it.
Okay. Well, then so that was just that. Okay. So that is well, dang, Lee. Okay. Well, just Lee knows her vocabulary.
Yeah.
Well, dang. Okay, well, some other neat things I thought, like, I mean, I love the fact that, like, we learn how to keep grays away.
Yes.
And I also think it's a little funny. I think it's funny that you, like, one of the things is, like, just yelling death words.
You literally just say words.
Yeah, but death words.
Yeah.
So, like, that is really, like, when you think about that, like, I mean, to me, like, death words. Okay, so, Huh.
Darlington was saying a poem about skeletons having sex.
So, I mean, you could just yell out like, I don't know. I mean, it's so weird. I just think it's very interesting. However, it did end in a very cool way. That chapter when because when Alex starts singing her song that's in Spanish and Hebrew, that was neat. Although I have no clue what that. I know we're just
Yeah. No,
yeah
it's fine.
yeah. That was.
Yeah, how would that even sound?
Have you listened to the audio at all?
No.
Okay, so it's very interesting. Have you listened to any of this on audio? Okay. Well, hey, go girl. I'm impressed. I thought so this one still has Lauren Fortgang, but it also has a gentleman who goes back and forth.
Okay.
And I don't know who the gentleman is, but yeah, he does sing it kind of a little bit. And yeah, this whole chapter 6 is neat just because I feel one, we're understanding Darlington, we're getting more about Alex, and I love it. It's creepy. What were they doing exactly? What was so we know that they had a scroll.
He did something. Like in my notes, I literally have Zeb doing a thing, but he was he cut himself open and put his hands on it and was absorbing
the ink.
But I couldn't tell you why.
Well, so it was absorbing the words I feel like that were on that scroll.
Yeah.
But exactly. But why? Did
I
anybody?
don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if I missed it.
See, that's what I feel like I did because I feel like that's totally a me thing to do.
Because they were focusing. I guess we were kind of focusing on what Zeb was doing, but then they were also kind of focusing on the fact that Alex screwed up the salt circle.
Yeah.
And the Greys got out.
Because she got so excited.
Yeah, she was all into what was going on. But Darlington actually turned it around.
Oh yeah, that was really
on them. And he's like, I didn't do it for you. But I feel like that's kind of a pivotal moment.
It is.
In their relationship. But the other cool thing was that they talked about the elixir. He takes the elixir.
Yeah,
so that he can see the Greys.
Yep, which is.
And she doesn't need to.
No, because she can see them.
And he, it's cold. They get really, really cold. And he describes it as getting an icicle shoved up your ass.
Yeah, it just sounds like brain freeze all over.
Yes.
Almost sounds like maybe Lee's trying to get us to think that maybe it feels like you're dead in a sense. Maybe. I'm not sure, but I do think it's I think it's very interesting that she it brings up the question to me okay, so all these other people, everybody else has to drink this elixir. Why? What is so special about Alex? That's so interesting. And
we also learned that they can touch Alex.
Well, that's a creepy part. Nobody else does.
Yeah.
But
even with the elixir, they can't get touched.
Yeah, it's really creepy when she brings that out. She brings that up, and that's why, and it kind of brings light to the fact of why she is so terrified of it.
Yeah.
And we actually, during this entire, this whole section, that we read, we get all of that. We definitely understand why she's so terrified, and it's horrifying. And but I love that she stumps Darlington. He's just
yeah, what do you mean?
They touch you. That's.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
And he had no clue. I will say that I felt her pain when she was at the very end of that chapter and she starts yelling why have you guys not ever come in and help me?
Yeah, there was this panicked pain
And it was so real the way, like,
Mhm.
I felt like it was written. I feel like I really felt it.
Yeah, 'cause she's like, "It took you so long to save me. You could have saved me." And she said,
Mhm.
"No, I'm not talking about just you. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the dean, who I always wanna call Dean Shadow." But
Yes. Sandow. Yeah.
yeah, but she's like, him or literally anybody else, not just you, but, like, literally any of you didn't do anything for me.
No, they were studying her and watching
Yeah.
and waiting for, I mean, just age. I mean, what were they? I feel like maybe they were studying her, like maybe they didn't even know in the beginning they were gonna like let her be a part of Lethe, but maybe it was more like,
Yeah.
since this is something that we deal with, we definitely need to keep an eye on her.
To make sure it's real.
But
Make
see,
sure, like,
oh my God, do you think they were watching her as a child?
oh, I don't know.
I mean, I wonder how long they had. But I mean,
True.
but honestly,
Because he had an old essay of hers.
yeah, I feel like they've been watching her for a very long time, and it's really sad. Some really cool parts that, like, I mean,
But Darlington, like, let her break a bunch of, like,
yeah, he broke it.
stuff in the room. Was it, like, old historical stuff?
I don't know, but I just love the fact that all of a sudden Darlington, like, kind of it. I feel like that's his like moment where he's like, okay, I feel your pain, and yeah, we should have done something
Because
like
that seems out of
it's
character at
very.
that point.
Oh yeah, because right now we feel like, I mean, Darlington's just like this perfect what
Perfect Dante or
per-
ex Dante, who is a little sassy about having to give up his spot so soon, I think, to somebody who isn't of his caliber of what he would think. So it almost seems like he's a little begrudgingly.
yeah. He's. I think he's also upset because he wanted the fact to be able to like. He seems like that type of person that enjoys like choosing and having that control,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden like the build up to like, oh my God, I finally get to pick this.
And it's
And
taken away.
yeah,
And it's to somebody who's better at it than he is because she can see it.
who's better at it, but also is from a completely different world, which is
Mhm.
like it brings up a whole other like topic of the fact that, like, I mean, what privilege is, and we learn about her too. Like, so I think it's the following chapter where, like, I mean, we learn that when she was in school, like, I mean, how she didn't fit in with
Mhm.
anybody. She obviously thought pretty was blonde hair and like that typical white girl thing. She thought that was pretty, and but they didn't like her. But then she also pretty much, I think she says, like, the Mexicans thought she was white. She wasn't Mexican enough to be with the Mexicans.
Yeah.
And which is just like, I mean, I don't know. It's sad. I hate it when bullying, I hate bullying, but it's just like it's such a lonely place,
Yeah.
and it touches on some really, like, I mean, some really deep discussion. Like, I mean, definitely some topics that, I mean, are she's gone through a lot of stuff, and I mean, she's just. But she also, I love that we also get to see the evolution of her a little bit, like start to kick
Oh, yeah.
ass.
Oh, yeah. And, like, before we go back into her, like, story, it was when we get to see the magic library.
Oh my God, yes.
The
Thank you.
beginning of chapter 7
Ugh.
is the magic library.
Okay, and, like, so cool, like,
All you
wha
have to do is, like, write down a thought of what you wanna learn about.
yep, and then it just shakes and spits out all these different books,
That is so cool.
and that's just so amazing.
I mean,
Espe
it's kind of like the internet because you just kinda type a few things that you wanna learn about and it pops up. But, like, for it to be a physical
Yeah.
thing with all because it's pulling up, like, historical documents.
Yeah, and these things are very, like, I feel like these are magical books that are hidden from the main world, like, I
Mhm.
mean,
They're
it's
hidden
a
from, like, the public. Yeah.
yep, and it's a huge archive of them,
Mhm.
like, massive, and you can just write down whatever you
Yeah.
want. However, neat note that when she does write that down, the note before was written by Darlington.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it said. I should have. But it's the first hint that we get. Well, it's not the first hint that we know that he's gone. We know he's gone. But it's the first time Lee says that was the last night that Darlington was seen alive. Something like that. It says it in a different way than it had because we knew something suspicious was going on.
Oh, yeah.
But now we definitely know, I mean, he might not even be alive.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Alex really, I mean, it's very weird. But it's exciting because it makes you like, what is going on?
Because it also says a week from now, Darlington might be back.
So he went.
So like, what is happening?
And because and he might be back because of a special ritual they're doing. So it makes you think
that
he's definitely
dead, or in like an in between, or like a different realm, or something.
He's messed around with something, or I mean, because if he might be back, then she knows he's not dead.
Yeah,
or at least she's got enough hope that he isn't.
It's weird.
It is.
But the Magic Library is cool.
Magic Library is so cool. I would totally love to have one. And it's really neat. And I thought the name of they have a name for that. Yeah, there it is. Albemarle book.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, yeah, that's definitely not how you probably say that. Probably Lee wrote it, and it's a lot cooler sounding than the way I did. But it's just what a cool thought and idea.
Yeah,
and it's just, and it's it's in between like Stover at Yale and a battered copy of New England Cookery Volume 2. She'd never seen any sign of Volume 1. I thought that was hilarious because some of the I don't know.
So it got me thinking, because I was also taking my notes at the same time. How do you spell gray? Not like how Lee is spelling it here necessarily, but like, how do you spell gray?
Okay, so I think I always, well,
it's controversial.
It is, isn't it? And and I guess I don't know what the difference is. I think I normally do with an E. Is that what is the difference? Do we even know?
So I think Gray is the more Americanized version of it.
Oh, that's it?
I think so. And I think Grey is like other places, but it's also the name. Like if your name is something Gray, then it typically tends to be Grey. But I have always spelled it with an EY.
Yeah.
Every time I try, because like Lee spells it AY. And so anytime I try to write Gray, it seems so wrong to me.
So,
and even Word doesn't correct me anymore.
It says Gray is more frequent in American English, whereas Grey is more common in British English. The varying usage of both gray and gray extends to specialized terms such as animal species and scientific terms. Okay, well, that's not as exciting as I thought it was.
No.
However, of course, you and I both are writing it the British way because, duh. So, well, at least we're spelling it the right way.
But I just had to put it in my notes of like, ask Eric how he spells gray, because as I was typing it out, and then I was also thinking, if you're writing to this Magic Library and you put down like Grey, would it?
So does she? How does she spell it?
Gray.
Okay. She probably does that on purpose too. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the majority of Americans are Gray. If anybody spells it our way, let us know on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I just thought it would be a fun how do you spell it? Because I just imagined if I wanted to learn more about grays and I went to this book and I was like Grey and gave it to it, would the book recognize
what it is?
Grey instead of Gray?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought about that, but because my brain does weird things.
Well, I wonder if the scientific term also, for grays really is grays.
Mm-hmm.
Because they still use the word ghosts. Not like it's not like prevalent. We're using the term gray a lot, but it still is like used where know that other students and other people. I don't think other people know the term gray.
Right.
But I think it has to do with the fact that that's the color they see them in. But Alex obviously sees something
right.
Which
it's not gray to her.
No. And
which we talk about
in
this chapter.
So, yeah, we get to this is definitely the part that there's a lot of adult parts, but
yeah, if you've got little ears in the room, you might want to.
This is definitely the time not to.
Yeah.
Because we go back to a very important part of her childhood, and I never saw this coming. Did you?
No.
It's not a storyline that I think I've ever heard of. The way it's done,
Yeah, I think it's been done before, but not in this context.
Okay. Because obviously we are talking about the fact that she's a pretty young girl, and when she's younger, and she goes on a field trip, and she's used to seeing the grays or the ghosts,
the quiet ones.
That's right.
Is what she calls them. She talks about how she sees them everywhere. About
Yep.
at the pool, or some biker that's all messed up, or
Yep.
There's perverts. She sees all kinds of quiet ones.
And she's used to walking. She can walk through them, and she does know that she doesn't like doing it, but when she has, it's very cold.
Yeah.
And this, she goes to
on a field trip.
On a field trip, she goes to the bathroom. No of the other girls go to the bathroom because it's nasty, and I'm probably one of those girls. If it's too nasty, I will just figure it out. But anyways, she gets sexually assaulted by a gray.
Yeah, so we had learned in previous chapters that the grays, quiet ones, or you want to call them, are attracted to life. And she gets her period for the first time on this field trip. So it sparks this pervert gray to rape her in the bathroom and leave her.
Yeah. And
well, not necessarily leave her, because I think the teacher walks in as it's happening, but she can't see the gray.
But then the gray is gone. She does
he does go away.
Because she questions it, doesn't she? I think she's I don't know. I feel like she doesn't know why the gray left, because but it's writ. I will say this, I did it surprised me, but I think the way Lee wrote it actually was done very well. It was graphic, but not something that was it wasn't you know what I'm saying?
It wasn't gratuitous.
Right.
Yeah.
However, it is horrible to think that this happened to a young little girl.
And it really sparked everything. It really changed the entire path. Because her only friend started spreading rumors about that event, and they started calling her Bloody Mary. And so she's getting even more bullied, and her mom's making her go to school, and it's just this whole thing. And if you're just absolutely tortured all the time, you're tortured at school, you're tortured at home, you're tortured just all the time because she can't get away from these things. But that's when she meets Mosh.
Yep.
and Masha's group. And she's 12 years old.
Yeah, it sounds like me.
Same.
Yeah.
And Mosh and his group are, they're the wrong kids.
They're the cool kid. They're like
They're a
the
little
people
older, but they're the cool ones. Not, I don't know, cool, but they're the
goth, the fun, the unique.
And somebody offers her some drugs, and
boom.
she discovers when she the first inhale, the grays go away,
which is so like it's interesting.
It's also it's very indicative and very like parallel to real life as well. So like if you are a tortured soul, don't even bring grays into this, but like if you have this like really rough life and you are constantly tortured, that first hit, that takes the pain away.
Mm-hmm. It's a trauma she's experiencing.
You are going to get hooked because you realize if I keep doing this, all the bad stuff just goes away.
Well, and that's what she's been running away from. Like literally, like she's just been running away from that her whole life ever since that happened. And because she was okay with, you know, seeing the quiet ones. She had like learned to like live with it, and she had just made her good like little Judy, this Megan, who ended up not being a good Judy at all. But she like kind of came to terms with it and was hoping things was going to get better. Well, then all of a sudden this happens, and now she's terrified. And it's all because she knows that they can touch you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not only like, I mean, it's just terrifying. It's so weird. But don't some drugs do different things?
Yeah, it's only the like the downers really that will help her, like all the opiates and all the
the shrooms and stuff like that.
The hallucinogens are probably a good thing if you're already seeing
they made it worse.
Things.
My God.
But she obviously starts down a terrible path. Her mom sends her to like a Scared Straight program.
Yep.
And she's like, peace out. I'm gonna keep doing this. But this is where the Helly comes in. She meets this Helly that we have heard about a lot,
yes,
but we know nothing about it. We know that she's dead.
Right.
And they just talk about like it's going on this story, and you think, oh, we're gonna get there, and then it just goes the incident, and I woke up to Dean Shadow in my room.
Dean Shadow.
He's just Dean Shadow now.
That's fine. Dean Shadow. Okay.
And so it was like, oh, so close. We almost got the tea.
I know.
And then we didn't get the tea.
We didn't. And we've got so many things to get. Yes. Like there's all these different pieces that you want.
We need Darlington tea.
Yes.
We need Helly tea.
Yeah. And
we still have the dead lady tea.
Tara, so that's my question. Like, I mean, why do you think Alex is so obsessed with Tara's murder? I mean, I understand it could possibly be one of the societies, possibly. But however, like, I mean, in the beginning, like, it really doesn't look like it has anything to do. What is she, why?
She said it reminded her of Helly's murder, or of Helly's death, not murder. But she said it.
So that's what you think it is? She
said, like, in one of the previous chapters, and I think we touched on it, is that she mentions that the incident it reminded her very much of Helly.
Okay. So I feel lucky because we actually get 2 magical scenes in our reading that we had. And so then we go back and we still have
back to present day.
Present day. We've got Dawes, Pamela, who still is just this very
she does not care.
No, she's not.
She's got her own thing going on.
Yep.
She can't be bothered.
No. Mm-mm. She cannot. And I'm excited to see if that character grows. I have a feeling it will.
Oh, yeah.
But
they're going to the morgue.
They are. And
field trip.
And my favorite part is who is like the gatekeeper to the morgue, but you know, just your own good Miss Judy. Just, of course, she's just like, She's just a Becky.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it's Moira.
Moira.
I love it. It is such like Moira. And I say it like that because, we got to think of our Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
I would, oh my God, could you imagine if Moira actually was?
Oh. I feel like you'd never be able to get past the...
Oh, no, you would not. Because and it's not that she didn't want you to. She
just wouldn't stop talking.
Or singing.
Mm-hmm.
Or making you sign her autograph.
So she doesn't need to use magic to get past Moira. She just talks.
She's smart.
Yeah.
She does I think that was really clever of her.
Mm-hmm. I just need a moment.
Yeah.
Just give me my moment. And then I've got this thing on my cell phone and look at it. And I don't know, she got back there.
She did.
But for the actual person back there, she had to use her coin.
She did. And that's her last one, right?
Yeah.
That is her last one.
Mm-hmm. But we get a big old slice of magic.
Yeah, and we finally get a little bit, like, it's interesting. It's like, it leaves you with questions, but it answers some, but leaves you, like, I think it's neat. I love this magic that they're using because it's very, I could see it happening almost.
I don't know why, but I got, Egyptian vibes from it.
It's the scarab beetle.
It's the scarab beetle.
Yes.
Because the actual, process isn't very, Egyptian, but, I guess the second she says scarab beetle, my mind goes to the mummy, and I'm picturing sand floating in the air and stuff.
Yeah, and she puts it on her tongue.
Uh-huh.
So it's weird. She does that, and then the other part is rubbing wax on her body in different
and,
designs,
lighting stuff on fire and crap.
Yeah, but after she says some kind of little spell thingy do, she can actually be able to tap into some of Tara's memories.
Yeah, she can see all of the wounds on her body.
So it's the memories from those, right? Is that it?
She starts getting flashes. Yeah, I think it was if I'm remembering it properly, there's a floaty image or something
There's
above the wound, and when she kind of puts herself into it, she gets a flash. So she got a flash of Tara on a bicycle getting slammed into a car.
Yeah.
And then she gets a flash of her friend saying that he was sorry.
It seems like it's her boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's right. Because we do have some clues. We know that the Turner guy, whatever, is uncovered that she was with her and her boyfriend dealt drugs or something.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So we get that she feels like Tara was drugged. She didn't feel any pain, but she was scared.
And that's what tipped her off, though, was the fact that, because when she's over the stab wound, which she is, she knows is the wound that's really important, she gets this, it's that flash that, all of a sudden, and I think this is the part that I really like the description of, is, when she's in there, she could feel, almost the slice or whatever, and she feels the warm blood, but there's no pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what tips her off to thinking okay, well, one, this ain't pot.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of gets her what is going on?
Yeah, because as she's leaving, she runs into Turner.
Yeah.
And she's not even scared of him, at all.
I love it. I love it.
And she starts questioning him, what is it? What's the drug? What is it? Tell me. Why can't you tell me?
And he actually does admit they haven't been able to figure out what it is. So that is definitely something. And then we get the biggest hint I think we've gotten so far, that the only person they've dealt a lot of people drugs, but the guy from the very beginning that just happens to be who seems
who is the watcher, the looker-outer.
Yeah, who seems just your California pothead. So, I'm sorry, I just imagine a surfer dude.
Yeah, she said he was really tired looking.
Yeah, he's
in her contacts.
Yeah, so that is Oh, do we by chance know what house he's from? Is he?
Uh,
I wonder if he is like. Do we know if he's part of Lethe or is he part of? I don't know. I just kind of there's all the. I'm trying to figure some of this out because you have to remember. I only read this once, and it was right when it came out, and so much time has passed in my brain. I don't remember. I remember I loved this book, but I remember a lot of it. So I feel like there's all these different hints in here. So I'm wondering, like, I mean, if I don't know. Who knows where I'm going with that one? I should probably stop. I know I'm making no sense. But that's where that ends, but it's still like it's I feel like it gives us something.
he's a bonesman.
He's a bones. Okay. Okay, so hear me out. That is interesting because I feel like there's a part. Okay, is Bonesman? That's not Skull and Key. No, Bone. I wonder what Bonesman is because here it is. Like um. So back all the way in like the very first chapter, it's in the beginning. Darlington. Oh well, no, that's back when Darlington was alive, though. Okay, nope, makes no
Yeah.
sense. I was gonna say Darlington is suspicious of some stuff that makes. Whenever someone's suspicious in a book that is a murder, I'm
Right?
always trying to like figure it out. But no, that makes no sense because if Darlington is suspicious, then that is not present day, and we are in present day murder. Tara
Yeah.
Hutchins is present
Yeah,
day,
Tara's present day.
and it's so interesting though. It's still like I mean, she gets some information, but still, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the very last line
oh, read it,
of
please.
the book when because we just said she was not afraid of Turner and Turner's like threatening her, like, I'm gonna arrest you and all this stuff. She's like, no, you're not. But the very last line, and don't grab me like that again. I may be shit, but I'm the kind that sticks.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean,
She's got some angst, and
just a little.
it's really awesome though. Like, I mean, I love that. She's strong, she's powerful, she's got an upper hand to people. Because
Well, he's really good at writing like sassy
oh, of
women.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
And this Turner character, he's just, I don't think he expected any of that at
No.
all. But I
don't think he's necessarily a bad guy.
Oh no.
But he's definitely not helping.
Well, because he's got such an interesting role.
Yeah.
Like it makes you like his role is to kind of he knows magic is going on, which makes me wonder if he ever has been a part of these secret societies.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I feel like if you're gonna like hire someone to help be the person in the police unit that makes sure, I don't know, it's just
But he works for Dean Shadow though, right? Like he's looking out, like he has to report to Dean Shadow, like
they
things that are
all.
going on.
Well, no, that's her. She does.
Oh, she's the go-between.
Yeah, because he is just the person that works for the cops that helps make sure that, like, if something is done by one of the secret societies, he kind of leaks it to them to make sure they can kind of clean it up.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Dean Sandow is actually who she has to report to.
Mm-hmm.
Who still seems like there's still some suspicious stuff there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of suspicious stuff.
It's sus.
It is. Ugh. Okay. Well, okay. Loving it. Fantastic. So, well, I guess really, like, I mean, we are just done. That was a fantastic episode. I do want
Yeah,
to.
we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, and don't forget, please, if you want, we have started our little discussion on Fable, Lethe, and the Ancient Eight. Yeah, we're having some fun. I am, at least. It's just it's a place if you want where you can ask questions and we can kind of like talk back and forth. However, just definitely want to give a shout out to Joseph. Thank you for communicating with me and asking your questions. You've yeah, we've been talking, and he's got some really interesting points about this book. And yeah, it's so it doesn't hurt if you want to. His question, which actually I do want to ask, is he asks, so it's this one quote from the very beginning. If you want to gray proof your room, hang a Holbein print. And he says, I'm familiar with the artist Hans Holbein, but why would his art in particular be repellent to grays? And I don't think I said that artist correct, so I'm so sorry, Joseph. I'm sure you do. I have no clue. I did say I would look into it.
I don't know. I mean, is the artist into like morbid things?
I looked it up, and I looked at the art. That's all I got to look at, and it was Renaissance-y. But I didn't see any blood or anything. So
well, because if you're trying to keep them out, then you want to remind them of death.
Correct.
So I don't know if the artist has, I guess, like, death in his work, or
there's got to be something. There's got to be something interesting. But he asked that question, and I didn't know either. But I do want to start thinking about and I want you to think about this too. If we were to run into a gray, what would the death words be that we would use? I'm going to think, and you think. I think that'll be fun.
All right.
And for those of you out there that want to share, we would love to hear. Real death words. So they've got to be from something. What would you use? Not something you can come up with. Yeah, because I can yell death. Could you just yell death over and over again?
Graveyards, gravesites,
bones, blood, murder.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson. Oh my God, that's funny. That sounds like something that would. Oh, wow.
It's something I would probably say in a panic.
Yeah, no. Okay, well, it has been fantastic. We will be covering the next 3 chapters next episode. So that will be chapters 9, 10, and 11. Okay, well, we love you all, and we'll see you next week. Long live the Grishaverse.
Like, we're at the end of the hour, so my voice is a little husky. It was.
No mourners.
No funerals.
This has been GrishaCast. Connect with us on the web at GrishaCast.com. Send an email to info@GrishaCast.com.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at GrishaCast.
And thank you to our amazing staff, Chris, Michelle, Alex, and Brenda.